Welcome to Biz Alchemy, a podcast about creating a new business paradigm by women, for women. I'm your alchemical host, Jacquelyn, and I'm going to take you on an extraordinary adventure to create a business filled with ease, fun, spaciousness, and abundance. Hustle, be gone. Let's birth a new way. And I have another wet bikini episode for you today. So, yes, you're at the right podcast. Don't worry. This is Biz Alchemy. But I have just come back from a beach walk. So I just wanted to, because, I get so inspired when I'm walking on the beach. And so everything is sort of there, sitting ready to be spoken. So I just wanted to get straight into it as soon as I got back. It's quite a moody day on the beach today as well. There was hardly anyone. I only saw two people. And it was, in that really fine rain, just so light you can hardly feel it. Irish rain. Yeah, I remember that, being over in Ireland. So it was a little bit like that, and dark clouds, and the ocean was quite a green, beautiful, I don't know what color green you would call it, but you just get it when you get the gray clouds, and it's just almost like a luminescent green. Anyway, that's the backdrop for today's episode, which I am looking forward to because this has been coming up big time with my clients in the last couple of weeks. Since I've been back seeing clients this year, this whole concept of throwing out the rule book, or throwing out the patriarchal rule book particularly, but the rule book has come up. It's amazing, just so many times. And the idea first came about a couple of weeks ago when I was having my call with my mastermind ladies, my infinity ladies, and it was the first call we've had this year. And when we get together and catch up on what's going on, and then I go around and check what's, where everyone's at and what they'd like to focus on. And then I do a little energy reading of around what they want to focus on. And sometimes that's their energy body, and sometimes it's their business's energy body, or a program's energy body, a program they're offering. Anyway, one of the ladies, her business was so emphatic. I looked at her business's energy body, and her business just went, basically throw out the fucking rule book. Like, really, it was so emphatic. And, it was like, your biz, your rules. And it was so strong. And it was just, for everyone on the call, everyone just went, oh my God, I follow a rule book. It was really, everyone realized suddenly, it just spoke to everyone's heart that there is this imaginary rule book that they follow in business. And it was the biggest aha for all of us, I think, in a different way. We all took that, in a different way. And this is what happens when you do energy readings like this in a group. The message is always for everyone, which is why it comes up. And it was really big. It shook us all, and it's interesting in a good way. Like shook the rules out of us, including myself. And very interesting because, of course, that's become a little bit of a theme now. And so even in my individual sessions I've been doing, it's really interesting how this is coming up now. It's like a really strong energy. And, when you think about what's going on in the world at the moment, where it's quite divisive and everything, it's like there are more and more rules at the moment. And obviously that happens at a time when we're ready to break through that in our evolution as humanities, humanity's evolution. So of course it's going to go on within us as well. Of course it's going to go on within our businesses. So it's a really important theme for this time, as in time here right now at the beginning of 2021. And also very, very much connected to our shift away from the patriarchal energy generally, but especially that, because we're here talking about business, that patriarchal energy that's in our business, that our businesses have been built on. And that system is full of rules of the way things should be done. So let's look at this rule book. Where does it come from? And, it's in many ways, it's self-imposed, but it comes from when we learned about business. Obviously, when we start in business, if it's your first ever business, you have no idea of how it works. And even where to start very often, other than the fact you have your skill, your gifts, your modality, but you really don't know how to translate that across into a business other than the fact you need clients. And so you learn, you'll do a course, you'll work with a coach, you'll even maybe just go online and search for how to do something and then follow someone's guidelines in how to do that. And this is important because this is how you learn. Now, there's sometimes those courses or the coach that you work with are really just giving you guidelines. They might say, this is what worked for me. I find that posting on Facebook 5 times a day and making sure one of those is alive has really worked for me. It's really helped me with the algorithm. And so I recommend this because it was successful for me. And so sometimes it is more like a guideline like that. But you take it on because you want your business to be successful and you go, okay, this is how it's got to be. Other times you might work with a coach or again buy a program or a course where it's really, this is exactly how you have to follow this to be successful. If you want to make this much money, you've got to follow it. I've tried and tested this. This is exactly the formula that works. And so follow it. And so you go, okay, I want to earn 100,000 in my first year. I'm going to follow this. I'm going to follow it. Okay, they say, don't do this, don't do that. I won't do those. I'll just do this. And then you might move on from that. You might start to work with someone new or do another program and bring on some more rules. But very often you don't let go of those original rules. There's still almost like a guilt around them if you try and think outside them. It's still, the little voice is still there going, this is how it should be done. So you almost accumulate more and more of these rules. Now, some may drop out after a little while, but it's amazing how often that voice can still come in, going, telling you what the rule is. And they can be really simple things. Like it could be just, I have to put lipstick on when I show up and do a live, and it's just a little story that's there because someone recommends it and you've just got it there, or just a story you've created. And as a result of that, feel how that just suddenly constricts you. It pulls your energy in. And this is what happens with these rules. They put blinkers on you, for one thing, so you don't even explore other possibilities very often. You just stay blinkered in that, and it constricts your energy. It also takes you away from what your heart is telling you it really wants, because the rules are so strong. And here's an interesting thing I realized last week with a client was these rules are not always just held in your energy body. They're held in your business's energy body. And you may have cleared them out of your energy body. You might have seen, recognized, that you are holding certain stories, and you've gone and you've cleared or used whatever it is that you do. You might have tapped on it. You might have used affirmations. You might have used hypnotherapy, whatever it is that you use to shift your stories. But have you done it for your business? Because if you've done courses and worked with coaches, anyone to do with your business, their energy goes into your business. Those rules go into your business's energy body. And so they could still be sitting there. So you're like, hang on, I've done the work on this. I know I've recognized this rule. I've let it go. I feel really good about it. Meantime, your business is sitting there with that energy in it. And you're wondering why there's maybe just a disconnection really between you and your business. Why you're still even feeling the guilt around this coming up. And it's not from you. It's coming from your business because those energies are still sitting in your business. So this is a very important thing to be aware of, okay? In all your personal development and everything you do to allow more of you to show up in your business, brilliant. And it's what we're here to do. But just remember you're in partnership with your business. And that same clearing, that same letting go has to happen out of your business's energy body. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly dip into a few of the chakras that can influence this. The first one that comes to mind, comes to mind, is the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is connected to many things, but something related to what I'm talking about here is it's where the balance of intuition and the mind come into play, where the harmony is created between your mental aspect and your intuitive aspect. Both are equally important, but they must be in harmony. Now, I talked about this a little bit in episode 7 about harmonizing the yin and yang in your business. And what happens is those rules get stuck in that mental aspect of the third eye. And they're so powerful and they can become so rigid that they override the intuitive aspect. The voice is just louder and stronger. And, often in that case, your intuition, it doesn't have much of a chance because the rigidity that comes with those rules or those shoulds, if you want to look at it that way, is so powerful and very uncompromising in many ways. So that's where the third eye can sort of play a part in this. And so it's important to have a look at that aspect of your third eye. And then there is also the base chakra or the root chakra, because this is very much about your stability and security. And those rules give a sense of security. Okay, it's almost an external sense of security, but those rules can make your base chakra feel safe. And so the base chakra can also hang on to some of those rules, because if you were to let those rules go and venture outside of those rules, maybe there's a bit of an unknown there. And that could cause your base chakra to have a bit of a wobble if it's not feeling secure within itself, if you are not feeling secure within yourself, if you are not providing your own stability. So that's how the base can get a bit wobbly with the rules. And another really important one, in many ways probably the most important in this, is your solar plexus chakra. Because your solar plexus chakra is about your self-trust and your self-belief. That's one important aspect of the solar plexus chakra, and taking action from that place of self-belief or self-trust. So if you truly believe that those rules are important for your business, that you have to do things this way for your business to be a success, even though if you actually went deep within your heart chakra, where your true essence is, it probably doesn't feel very happy about that rule. It probably, it's probably not filled with joy about that rule. But you've taken it on as an integral part of business. You just have to do it. And so you're not trusting, you're not believing in yourself and believing in your true voice. You are allowing the voice of someone else, the rules that you've taken on, through someone else's teachings and sharings, even if they did not tell you it was a rule. As I said, they may have just given it as a guideline, but you've clung to that guideline and you've made it your own rule. I'm just going to touch on one other chakra, actually. It's just popped into my mind, is the throat chakra. The throat chakra is very linked in some of the solar plexus, but also the throat around perfectionism. And I did chat about perfectionism in episode 4. Perfectionism also comes from following the rules. Perfectionism comes from, in relation to the throat chakra, that what you are communicating, your creative expression of yourself through your business is right, that you've got it right, that you're doing it right. And the right, where does the right come from? The right comes from following rules. The right comes from external. Someone else has told you that this is right, and you've taken that on as a rule. So your throat chakra can also constrict around this concept of rules. Now, as I said, these rules can be little rules. They're not necessarily big things. So what I recommend for you to do, and this is what we talked about in my mastermind group, is writing a list of the rules that you follow. Look at the different aspects of business and just have a look at what rules have you taken on. And even if you don't always follow them, when you don't follow them, there's some guilt or a little voice going, oh, you haven't done that today, or oh, you should have done it this way to have done it properly. You've cut corners there. The little voice that comes in and actually still has a little bit of judgment, even though you may have consciously decided to let go of that rule. Now, one thing I really, confession here, I am like the biggest rule person. And this links into the perfectionism. When I say the biggest rule person, I put these expectations on myself. And, as I discovered recently with the incredibly high blood pressure that I had at the end of last year, this is where I felt it came from, these rigid expectations I have of myself, which come from placing rules around what I do in my life, the way I show up in my business, my creation of content for my business, whatever it is. I do have these rules that I put there, these expectations that can make me very rigid and actually can cause my energy to constrict. And I can always tell when this happens because I don't attract in as many new clients. I don't have as many sessions booked. So I always know when I am constricting, when I'm applying too many rules, when I'm moving out of my true energy, or constricting, restricting my true energy. It's reflected in the people who are attracted to me. It's so clear. So I'm just talking about that because I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, she's got it worked out. I've got to get there. No way. I have not got it worked out. I am so on this journey, and writing this list of the rules that I have around myself in all aspects of business, it's a list I'm just keep adding to, actually. I keep coming up with new ideas of like, oh my gosh, or not even ideas, are they? New observations. So I recommend doing this. I recommend writing the list and adding to it and going through it and seeing, does it serve you? And you know how you know if that serves you, if that rule is serving you or not? It'll bring you joy. You'll read it and you'll feel joyful. You'll feel happy. It won't really feel like a rule. You'll be like, that feels really good. I actually love doing that. I love showing up on Facebook 5 times a day. I love it. It's my connection. So in that case, it's not a rigid rule. It's something authentic. It's something that's coming from you. It might have been given to you as a rule or a recommendation, but actually you love it. It brings you joy. And if it brings you joy, you're attracting. There's more attraction energy going out there to bring in your ideal clients. So in that case, you'll go, perfect. That rule's aligned with me. And if there's another and you go, ooh, have a look at it. Why are you using it? And if you can't really think about a replacement, like you feel it still needs to be done and you can't think of a replacement, just remember to ask the big you. How can I make this easier? How can I do this in another way? But the most important thing is to identify what is constricting your energy. What have you taken on from someone else and added it to your rule book? And it's time to rip up that rule book. It is your business. You make the rules. And those rules can be broken at any time, thrown out at any time, replaced with any new rules at any time. It's your business. So this really is connected to the patriarchal model of business. And many of those rules are to do with the patriarchal model of business. They've come from that. And sometimes they've been sugar-coated, but essentially they're still from that. So if you are really passionate about letting go of that model of business, of showing up in business fully as yourself, creating a business that reflects you, that's filled with joy and expansion and abundance and all those wonderful things that we crave as women that are so much a part of our energy, then you might like to consider coming and joining me in Biz Alchemy Playground. So this is the last week to join. It's a lifetime access program, and it is all about being with a tribe who are moving into this new paradigm together. And you can find out more details about it at jacquelynatkins.com/playground. And for this week only, I have a special offer of $99 a month for 12 months. And then once you've paid, you are in the playground. You are there. You can access everything, all the content, all the calls, the networking opportunities with the other amazing women in there, all the visualizations in the library, everything. There's just a plethora of information, guidance, support, energetic support, and fun. So if this is something that interests you, the invitation is open until the 31st of January, midnight on the 31st of January, my time, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And then it will be closed. So here's your chance to get in for lifetime access to this program. Such an incredible group of women. Would love to have you in there. And if you've got any questions, just send me an email at jacquelynatkins.com, and just ask away, and I will share whatever you need to know about the playground. So thanks for listening today, and time for me to go and have a shower and get ready for my workday. And I hope that you have an alchemical week in your business. Thanks for listening to Biz Alchemy. I'm Jacquelyn Atkins. If you enjoyed this show, I'd love it if you subscribed, shared with your friends, and left a review. And if you'd like to continue the conversation, head to jacquelynatkins.com. Until next time, enjoy creating alchemy in your biz.